All right, this is station 7. So we're going to look for a common factor here. So it's going to be 6a divides out of both. Let me move this down a little bit. Right, if I divide a 6a out of both, I get an a squared minus a 9. So then I can factor further. I keep track of the 6a, but a squared minus 9, that's a difference because of the subtraction, difference of two squares. So remember, if I square root the first one and I square root the second one, that'll get me my parts here. I know I have plus and minus. Square root of a squared is a and a. Square root of 9 is 3 and 3. Factored. All right, this guy, common factor in these three terms, there aren't any. So now it's a trinomial where a is 1. So I know it sets up as r and r. I'm looking for numbers that multiply to 80 but add to 21. 10 and 8. That doesn't add to 21. 5. 8 times 5 is 40, so it's going to be 16 and 5. And that does add to 21. So it's r plus 5 and r plus 16. Factored. Done. All right. We've got an x squared and an x. We're trying to solve for x because of the equal sign. So I cannot do isolate the variable. I've got to apply the zero product property. Zero product property says if it equals to 0, the other side needs to be a product. It is not a product. We got a factor. Is there a common factor? No. So this is a trinomial where a equals 1. So I do the 3 times the 10. I get a 30. I'm looking for numbers that multiply to 30 but add to negative 13. Looks like it's going to be negative 10 and negative 3, right? Because if I multiply those, I get a positive 30. Those add to negative 13. So I'm going to split the middle term. Which one do I put first? Which one goes better with the 3 here? The negative 3. So I'll go negative 3x minus 10x plus 10. Right? The 10 drops down. That drops down. The 13 splits into those two numbers. Equals 0. Now I'm going to factor the first two and then factor the second two. So in the first two, it's 3x that's common, so I get x minus 1. On the second two, I'm going to factor out a negative because there's a negative in the middle there. 10, and it's going to be x minus 1. It's minus 1 because I have a negative 10 I'm dividing by, so a positive divided by a negative equals 0. Now I see that my x minus 1 is what's common, so that's my common factor. When I pull it out, I'm left with a 3x minus 10. Now I can apply the zero product property because I have a product equaling 0. So the zero product property says if either one of those parts are equal to 0, the whole thing equals 0. So those are my solutions. X equals 1. Or 3x, if I add 10, I get 10. Then I divide by 3, x equals 10 thirds. There's my two solutions.